Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 playing the beta. And what we're going to be talking about in this video is actually some changes that Treyarch has made to Black Ops 3 following feedback they received from the Black Ops 3 beta. Yes, it appears that the beta was not just a glorified demo, it actually was there to test stuff. It was actually there to get our opinions and our feedback towards different aspects of the game. And David Vonderhaar has actually made a post over on PlayStation.com. If you guys want to check it out, there's going to be a link to it in the video description if you guys would like to read the entire article, but he details some of the things that have actually been changed about Black Ops 3 since the beta following our feedback from what we were able to see during the beta. The first thing is, some players were dissatisfied that the Black Hat equipment was too powerful, and we agree. I definitely agree with that. I made a video talking about the Black Hat and how I feel as though it is way too powerful. It's not fun. There's nothing fun about working for a very hard kill streak, getting a big cool kill streak up in the air, than having somebody just hack it. You know, that happened to me a couple of times putting out the wraps. You know, the wraps actually come in via like an airship, and they come in and they get dropped down there, and there's little like metal balls that roam around the map similar to dogs, right? People can hack that little plane thing that drops off the wraps, and suddenly the wraps are being used against me. That's not fun. Like, Timmy No Thumbs could just like literally do nothing and just hack my kill streak and kill me with it. Like, I was able to hack people's helicopters. You shouldn't be able to do that. Like, it's something they should just remove. But let's see how they actually end up changing it. They say, we agree. Our new hacking mechanic scales the hacking speed based on how close you are to their target and will require precise aim to hack score streaks in a reasonable time. Time to hack has been adjusted upwards across the board to make it more challenging to hack, especially at the higher end of rewards. Hackers now will appear as a red dot on the minimap during the duration of the hack, which, along with voiceover notifications that a score streak is being hacked, provides players the ability to counter by hunting down the attacker. I gotta say, I don't think this is the change that Black Hats needed. My own personal opinion here, I tried to just report news to you guys, but my own personal opinion on this is I feel as though Black Hats need to be more similar to what they were like in Black Ops 2. They should not have the ability to take powerful score streaks away from your opponent. Sure, take my equipment from me. If I put down a Claymore, take it from me. I don't care. That's fine. That's what they had in Black Ops 2. If I put up a UAV and you want to take down the UAV, where they kind of use it as an extra measurement of anti-air support, that's fine by me too. Feel free, go ahead, do that. It doesn't matter to me. But the idea that they're still going to be able to take kill streaks from the opponent is something I'm not a big fan of. They made it so it's going to take longer. They made it so it's going to require you to actually stay on target with it and not just like lazily aim it towards the sky looking for a kill streak to hack. They made it so it's going to be more difficult, basically. They made it so you're going to be showing up on the minimap. There is going to be voiceover saying that the thing is being hacked. But overall, I don't think any of these things can necessarily stop somebody. If someone's on the opposite end of the map and they're sitting there hacking it, the chances of us actually be like get to them in time are pretty slim. And then of course they're going to be able to hack our kill streaks, and somebody that would generally do terrible is now controlling some of the most powerful kill streaks in the game just because they happen to be facing somebody that was good enough to get them. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Hopefully that ends up getting another change when the game actually goes live, and maybe after a little bit of feedback after the game goes live, they might change it again. But right now it looks like the Black Hat, they nerfed it. Totally, they nerfed it, but it's still going to work the same way that it worked during the beta. The next one that he wrote down is Rejack. We all know that one, that special ability Rejack. I made a whole video showing you guys how OP that thing was and how it just needs to be straight up removed. And this is their opinion on Rejack so far. Rejack sparked its fair share of controversy during the beta for a number of reasons, most of which were valid. Included in that list, putting players into Rejack does not count as a kill, and players were using Rejack to stack score streaks. Now putting a player into Rejack counts as a kill. Players will receive kill credit immediately in-game on the scoreboard and leaderboard and in persistent stats. Rejack now also resets all score streak progress so that it cannot be used continuously throughout the match to pad progress towards high-level score streaks. Again, this reminds me a lot of how Sledgehammer Games nerfed a lot of the weapons in Advanced Warfare. Like, they would nerf a weapon that was OP, but they would like nerf an aspect of the weapon that didn't make it overpowered. Like, for example, with the ASM-1, a lot of people considered that weapon OP. They need to nerf it, right? The ASM-1 was just too too good. And they're like, okay, we hear you, we'll nerf it, we'll reduce its magazine size. It's like, that's not the reason it's OP. The reason it's OP is because it melts people, it has like no recoil, and it hits like a truck. Like, it's just like you're nerfing the wrong part of the weapon, right? And the same thing I think is happening here with Rejack. They're nerfing Rejack, but they're not nerfing the part of Rejack that is annoying and terrible. Like, sure, you can continue on your score streak, usually from the beta. If you get up from your Rejack, you kill the guy, and you continue on. That's fine. That's all fine and dandy. That's okay. But the most annoying part about Rejack was not the fact that just because they live, they're going to be able to continue on their score streak. It was annoying because they're basically using a death streak, which is like Final Stand, where they get to go down there, they're invincible while laying on the ground, they're covered in smoke for like, what, 3 or 4 seconds or something like that, and you have to wait and make sure like they don't actually get back up, and during that time, you may have to reload. During that time, another person may come into the room. During that time, anything can happen. In a perfect world, you meet Mr. Rejack in a dark alley somewhere, you put him down, he goes down to Rejack, and you're just like, all right, well, I'm just going to wait for you. The moment you pop out of that smoke pile, I'm going to get you, and it's going to be fine. That's in a perfect world. Call of Duty, as we know, is not a perfect world. You're going to shoot somebody down to Rejack, he's got a teammate behind him, there's going to be a smoke grenade or something like that on the ground. This is going to be while contesting for like the B flag or something like that, where he's just going to be able to get out of there, he's going to be able to jump away, he's going to wait the entirety of the thing, and then get up last second, right when you think he's not going to get up, and then he's going to be able to shoot you. Like, we all know Rejack is ridiculous. Like, just about all YouTubers agree, and a lot of people in the community agree as well. Rejack's ridiculous. It just needs to be straight removed from the game. And there's always a thing like, oh, just continue shooting. And the people that say that, I don't think are actually really familiar with how the mechanic works in the game. You can't just shoot into the smoke pile and get a kill. That's not how it works, because he's invincible while he's down there in that smoke pile. He needs to actually get up from the smoke pile and choose to rejack before that happens. And maybe that time while you're shooting at the smoke pile or something like that, and you're waiting for him to come out there and he's invincible, you're just wasting your ammo, and then you have to reload, then he jumps out, or you go around the corner, then he jumps out, or a teammate shows up, then he jumps out, knowing that you're going to be a little bit distracted. Like, it's a terrible ability. It really is, in my opinion. It shouldn't be in the game, and I'm disappointed that the first 2 things that they've actually nerfed here were things that needed nerfed, but they didn't nerf it in the way that they actually needed nerfed. They're like messing around with the other aspects of it, which I understand. The Rejack itself also was kind of annoying, because there was videos out there on YouTube of people getting ridiculously high score streaks and stuff like that because of Rejack. That's nice that they nerfed it in that respect, but overall I just think Rejack should just be removed from the game in general. The next one David Vonderhaar is going to right here in this blog is, we've talked a lot about flinch mechanics during the beta, and if you guys don't know what flinch is, that's when getting hit causes your weapon to move out of position. If you start shooting at somebody, your gun like starts kicking way high in the air, that's because your character is flinching, because he's also being shot at. So they go on to write, our improved networking code would sometimes cause bullet flinch to stack, so we put a cap on how much you can flinch while aiming down sight. While you will still flinch when shot, it will be within tighter constraints to keep you closer to your aim, which is basically they're nerfing flinch, I suppose. Maybe some people thought that the flinch was a little bit too high. I personally didn't notice a big problem with it, but there you go. They end up nerfing that a little bit, so there's going to be less flinch. But then again, in my opinion, that flinch is kind of like the skill gap, I suppose. But then again, I never noticed, and maybe this is a bug I just didn't realize was there. Maybe it's a really good thing that they fixed this, but apparently bullet flinch stacked. I had no idea. I didn't notice that during the beta, but if it was there and it was a problem, that's awesome. They actually ended up fixing that. The next one is, we improved the feedback that you have downed your target by using the red kill marker. The marker will subtly grow in size with each subsequent hit, turning red upon dealing lethal damage as added reinforcement to confirm the kill. So we all know about like the red hit marker they add into the Black Ops 3 beta. They're basically going to make it so it's going to start as a small one, then make it a little bit bigger as you get closer to death, and it's actually going to become like full-on red when you actually deal lethal damage. So basically they're changing around the hit marker. It's not just going to be like a normal little X like it's always been, and yeah, it's probably a good thing, all things considered. The next one is, during the beta, any downward or backward player movement could make the grenade toss distances feel awkwardly short. This has been adjusted so that player velocity never negatively impacts grenade trajectory. We also tweaked grenade speed and distances. So I wish they kind of went into detail there, what they mean by tweaking the grenade speed as well as distances, because in my opinion, one of the great things about Black Ops 3 is kind of the return of grenades, whereas Black Ops 2, it was all about C4, like frag grenades and Semtex, they rarely actually saw play, at least in my own little circle. Like, I didn't see a lot of it happening. I played a lot of Ground War, and we all know in Ground War and Black Ops 2, C4 is king. It really, really is. And in my opinion, during Call of Duty City Ghost during Advanced Warfare, like most of like the equipment, like grenades anyway, just really weren't that great. They were okay, but they just really weren't that great. I noticed during Black Ops 3 while playing the beta that it was ridiculously powerful. Like, the frag grenades were ridiculously powerful. It kind of felt nice. Like, it felt like you could launch these things kind of across the map if you were smart with kind of like where you threw them. And I had some of that. I showcased some of that in some of my videos. If you were smart and you kind of like could like guess the trajectory of your grenade, you could like launch it kind of across the map. You could like do a vert grenade and land it perfectly on a bomb site and stuff like that. I liked how the grenades performed during the beta. And they said apparently if you were like accidentally going backwards or downward in some respects, it would actually negatively affect the grenade distances. And so they end up fixing that. And they said that the player velocity will never negatively impact the grenade trajectory, which is nice. So basically the grenade's never going to go shorter, but it can go farther. Like, one skill thing, I think, one aspect of Call of Duty that I think is skill-based is if you have a grenade and you jump while throwing it, that's going to give that grenade a little bit of extra oomph and get it a little bit farther. That's always been like a skill throw in Call of Duty, and I was worried that they were going to nerf that in some respects, but it looks as though they didn't nerf that. They just made it so, they actually buffed it, I suppose. They made it so if you're like moving backwards while throwing a grenade, it's not going to go awkwardly short or anything like that, which I think is a pretty good thing. But again, right there at the end, they said they also tweaked grenade speed and distances. I wonder how that's actually going to play when the game actually makes its full release, because I want to know, like, did they increase the distance, which I can't imagine they did. Did they shorten the distance? Because I hope they didn't. What do they mean by grenade speed? We'll have to see when the game actually launches. The next one is players felt concussion and flashbang grenade types were very powerful. While both grenade types need to be in order to stay viable as equipment choices, we reduced the concussion grenade stun time by 1 second, and now unlocking the Tac Mask perk, the counter to both concussion and flashbangs, earlier in progression system at level 13. So now you can actually get Tac Mask at level 13, which is pretty nice. You kind of get it really early. So if you're somebody that plays like Hardpoint, for example, I noticed ridiculously, if you're playing Hardpoint, man, there's like stuns and grenades just flying at you constantly. So having Tac Mask is definitely pretty nice. Having Flak Jacket is obviously pretty nice. And they made it so that the concussion grenade stun, basically the stun grenades, are going to be 1 second shorter, so it's not going to be as impactful as what it was previously. And Tac Mask will allow you to basically ignore all that stuff, and you can have that at level 13, which I think is nice. You know, stun grenades and flashbangs, you know, they've always been part of Call of Duty, but it's always nice to have a counter to them. And I think it's pretty nice. I was coming from somebody that plays a lot of ground war. I played a lot of objective game modes, and Tactical Mask, like going from like the original Black Ops to Black Ops 2, like Tac Mask has always been like my perk 3 of choice. And so it's nice to see that we're going to be able to get at an earlier level, and that concussion grenades aren't going to be that bad. I think that's pretty nice. The next one is, by popular request, we add a time in hill stat to the scoreboard and leaderboards in the Hardpoint game mode. Now, this is for the objective players, which is pretty nice. They really need to have more objective stuff on the scoreboard, so people can't just continuously brag about their kill-death ratio, people that aren't playing the objective and stuff like that. It's nice to see that somebody is going to have a time in hill stat on their scoreboard. If there's somebody that's like not doing so good, somebody that goes, you know, 30 and 30 while everyone else is going like really positive, but that guy that's going 30 and 30 has like freaking, I don't know, like 4 minutes on the hill in Hardpoint or something like that, then yeah, that's going to be pretty cool if they're going to be able to see that. They're going to be like, yeah, that's the objective player. Look how hard he played the objective. It's always nice to see your stats, so that's definitely awesome that they end up doing that. The next one is, players did not feel sufficiently rewarded for escorting the robot in Safeguard. Players now receive plus 25 score every 3 seconds that they escort the robot toward the enemy base. So initially, I wonder, is 25 score really enough? I don't know, like, because we all know that when you played in Safeguard, the people that were on the robot, they were cannon fodder, man. Those people were there to die, basically. And it was very, very hard. Like, be prepared to die if you're trying to escort the robot in Safeguard. That's kind of how it went. We, of course, saw Safeguard. There was a lot of 100+ kill gameplays out there on YouTube as a result of Safeguard, because it's just like the ultimate kill hoary game mode, right? That's kind of how it's always been. So now they're trying to incentivize players to actually try to play the objective by giving them 25 score every 3 seconds that they're on the robot and they're actually escorting it. And it reminds me of Drop Zone. You get a very small number of score while playing in Drop Zone while actually being on the Drop Zone, but over time that's going to add up pretty quickly. And this could be like the same idea, right? This could be the same idea. 25 score every 3 seconds. While it seems low initially, perhaps that would actually be a good amount of score. We're going to have to actually see. Maybe they'll increase that as the game goes on. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. You guys think 25 score every 3 seconds is enough to incentivize players to escort the robot and Safeguard more? We'll have to see about that. The next one is, players wanted additional details about how they were eliminated. The Killcam and final final kill cam now show what killed you, including weapons, score streaks, specialist weapons, equipment, and etc., and what perks the player has equipped. So basically, the kill cam is going to show the entire loadout that the person that killed you has. So if you're ever interested in seeing exactly what they were running, you can definitely have that by just watching the kill cam. And the final one is, additionally, various weapon balancing changes were implemented, including the Razorback and the M8A7. Those were like the two weapons I think a lot of people complained about. You know, people complained that the M8A7 was too powerful as an assault rifle, which it probably was. It was very, very good. And the Razorback was like the MTAR. If you remember like the Call of Duty Ghosts MTAR, it was pretty similar to that, I suppose. And yeah, so people thought that was really, really good. Everybody seemed to be using the Razorback. Like if you're facing a team and like they want to play competitively, I suppose, the Razorback seemed to be the weapon of choice. They did nerf the range on it already during the beta, on the Xbox version of the beta, that is. And I wonder what they mean by this nerf here. Did they reduce the range even more? Did they reduce the damage on it? What did they do to it exactly? I'm definitely interested to see all of this when the game actually makes its launch on November 6th of 2015. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to conclude this video as we just kind of go over and give some opinions as to the various changes that they have announced for Black Ops 3 in response to our feedback from the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 multiplayer beta. Is there some other stuff out there you guys would like to see them change? Is there some stuff in here that you thought maybe they should have changed but they didn't? Is there stuff here that they did change but you feel as though they should have changed it in a different way? Let me know about that. Like, in my own personal opinion, I think the Black Hat should have been reworked even more. I think Rejack should honestly probably be removed from the game. They could go with a different kind of ability that would be that would make sense in terms of like the character himself, and make it so Nomad actually has like a more survivalist style of an ability, like maybe like a scavenger style of an ability or something like that, rather than having Rejack. There's a lot of things they could do there, but those are just my opinions. Let me know your opinions in the comment section below. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.